welcome to BTR's Elite Partners podcast and blog series, where we invite our elite partners to share what they're doing in the world of HR technology and benefits. Hey, my name is Holly Brummett. I'm the Business Development Coordinator for BTR, as well as co-host of the series. And with me is my co-host, Therese. Hey, Therese.
Hey, Holly. Thanks a lot. I'm Therese Tomasek, and I am the Consulting Operations and Vendor Manager here at BTR. And we are just incredibly excited to bring awareness to the market about our elite carrier and vendor partners.
Yeah, we are. Our partners are gold. They make us shine. And, BTR has been called gold standard for HR technology. And we've got iBenefit for communications. So it's really a win-win for a lot of our employers.
They definitely are, Holly. And I just also want to add that we created these partnerships to help employers and employees everywhere in all types of industries across the United States. As I'm sure we all know, HR technology and employee benefits can be complicated and sometimes overwhelming. And here at BTR, we aim to not only simplify the experience, but also improve upon it with creative and customized solutions for employers everywhere. Again, we are really proud of the Elite Partners program. And today we are even more proud to feature UKG on the podcast. UKG's big thing is to focus on their three pillars, which is product, service, and culture. And you can't have one without the other. And we really learned how intertwined these three pillars are and how great it is for employers.
I think one of the things I took away today is they're actually, for all clients of all types. They're for, employers of all sizes and industries. So that's really exciting to hear some of the unique things that they do for their clients. Also, some of the things that are on their roadmap. I think they've got some neat ideas. So let's get into the conversation with them and hear from UKG.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to have you join us for another version of our Elite Partner Series for 2022. Today with us on the podcast, we have Keen Han from UKG. Welcome to the podcast, Keen. We are so incredibly happy to have you join us today. Would you please introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi, Therese. Great to be here. So my name is Keen Han, and I am a product marketing manager here at UKG. And what that means basically is I'm in charge of owning all of our core brand messages around why UKG really does what it does and what stories we want to be telling to the market about that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. One of the questions here at BTR that we get asked a lot about is, what do your partners specialize in? What are they known for? So will you please kind of give us a rundown of, what UKG is known for and what kind of your claim to fame is?
Sure. So really, it all kind of boils down to our tagline for UKG, which is our purpose is people. And people are really where everything starts for us. So oftentimes you'll hear in the human capital management market, we're really concerned with business process. We're really concerned with kind of the bottom line and efficiencies and automation and all of those kind of typical, great messages. But where's the human side in that? And that's really what UKG looks to unlock with what we're trying to do, because our concern is to have a really deep understanding of both people and work that really unlocks happier outcomes for everybody across the whole spectrum. So that's in a nutshell kind of what we do and what makes us different.
Great. I really like the, part of your mission, partnering for people. I think that's incredibly beneficial, especially, when we look towards, the areas of employee engagement and making sure that everybody is connected in some way or another. And also, I know that a big part of UKG's mission is partnering for life too. So can you elaborate a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah, so when we say partner for life, what that means is all of those things that kind of wrap around technology, because ultimately technology is only a tiny part of what actually is happening when you make a relationship with an HCM vendor. Sure, you get enabled with solutions that, like I said, will help take some work off your plate, will help automate some processes, will help maybe give you some data at the right times. But how do you make sure that you're using that information and those processes to maximize what your business goals are and to maximize things, again, for the people who work for you and do right by those people? And that's what UKG sees Partner for Life as really being contributing to for us, is we, as a service partner, are not going to just kind of throw some technology at you and leave you in the dark to kind of stumble through that and figure out what you're supposed to do there. We're going to build a meaningful relationship with every single one of our customers to deliver exceptional value and confidence with the solutions that we provide. We want to, every step of the way, end to end, from the earliest kind of sales conversations and discoveries that we do to find out what your core issues are, through to implementation when we're on the ground with you, really sorting through the nuts and bolts, which often, as everybody knows, gets to be a challenging and dirty process. We'll make sure that we're trying our best to optimize that for you. We're trying to focus our North Star on what really makes a difference for your particular organization there. And then, carrying beyond implementation, really making sure that we are consciously handing off the processes that are in play to our support team, to the ongoing customer service folks who are going to be involved with you, people like our executive relationship managers, and making sure that you have advisors who are in your corner every step of the way as you have questions, as things arise beyond the go live date, to make sure that you're getting the most out of the solution that you have. So, thinking about being an advisor to our customers and not just being, a technology provider. We're in there with you. We understand we ourselves have an award-winning organization, an award-winning people-centered organization that's really focused on doing the best for our employees. So we want to extend those learnings to our customers.
I like that. That's really neat. That kind of reminds me of your 3 pillars that you have your kind of UKG built around. What are they? Product, service, and culture. Can you explain a little bit more about how those pillars work together to kind of create your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah. So when we think about those 3 elements of product, service, and culture, it kind of boils down to what we like to call our 3 brand pillars. And the way that we talk about product is we talk in terms of advancing life work technology. That's kind of our clever way of saying that we really, unlike the traditional HCM solutions, like I was alluding to earlier, we really try and anticipate people's needs beyond just work and thoughtfully adapt to meet those needs. So the technology is focused on seeing kind of beyond the day-to-day, beyond those operational considerations to, what's going on when someone has their daycare fall through and they need to suddenly leave work to pick up a child. That's something I think a lot of folks can relate to. What happens when, suddenly there's a gap, someone leaves the company and we need someone to fill that. Do we know who that person is? Do we know, who wants to do that? Not just who has the skills to do it, but who wants to do that and who's passionate about it. And looking at giving that kind of guidance to the people we serve and helping them to really optimize their organization around those people and seeing the whole person of every single person who comes to work there. So that's really the product pillar, that life work technology focus. That's kind of our take on HCM in general as a technology area. Then, as we just discussed, partner for life, those meaningful relationships, like that's the service pillar. We don't want to just leave you hanging. Like we said, we want to be there for you. We have experts who can help. We want to have an opinion, have a voice, and help you to get to the best outcomes possible, not just have technology. And then finally, culture. So one of the things that really makes UKG unique is that beyond just developing technology, we also are developing a culture strategy. And we are also some of the foremost advisors in the world on culture. As you guys may have heard about, we recently acquired Great Place to Work over the past year, who they are known the world over as one of the authorities on what makes great organizations and what great organizations do differently based on millions of survey responses from actual employees who work at those organizations. So when we talk about culture, we talk about championing great workplaces. We're leaders in culture. We help our customers to realize what's possible when they invest in their own people and teach them the principles that we ourselves are following to get better every day when it comes to culture. So beyond just technology, you're getting access to a wealth of industry leading information around culture and practices around culture. And you can even, as part of getting on board with us, become certified yourself as a great place to work so that you can be recognized for your culture and become more marketable as an organization.
That's great. I think culture plays a huge part in how, employers engage with their employees. So, as everybody knows, the pandemic caused a lot of people to, work from home. So, teams are now spread out across the country. There's not, the traditional, working in an office all that often. So, how, is UKG helping employers, connect with and engage their employees, making them, aware of the culture, making them feel included?
Yeah. So, as we all know, hybrid work has been a huge challenge around that. There's been different considerations that you need to have when you're talking about a remote employee versus an in-person employee. And there's also been companies that have had kind of barriers to doing things that way. Like think about some sectors like, manufacturing or healthcare, where people just have to be on the ground at those locations more often than not. And how do they differentiate their cultures in order to stay competitive, especially when there's so many job openings and so many people who are trying to find, out if the grass is greener on the other side, basically. So with that in mind, I think a lot of our core brand principles already really drive towards an atmosphere that supports all different types of work and all different people's needs there. And UKG has historically been focused very hard on communication, on transparency, and on guidance. So a lot of our solutions, like I was saying earlier, it's not just about giving people data, but it's about what do you do with that data? And how do you have the guidance you need in the moment to actually make a difference with that data? So, when we collect information, and, one of the things that makes us really good at this is we have that workforce management background too. So we've got all this time data. We've got all these numbers that we can apply that give hard facts and hard statistical kind of backbone to a lot of the things that are going on in HR. So it's not just looking at performance reviews, but it's looking at what happened with this person this year that caused a particular decline in their performance. Maybe it's that, they moved further away. We can see that. Okay, so suddenly they're driving an hour instead of driving 20 minutes to get to the job site that they've been working at. And maybe also, that's causing them to punch in late when we're not used to seeing that from that individual. Maybe it's causing them to call out more. Maybe it's causing them to take unreasonable blocks of overtime. And it's more than just having all those numbers and being like, this is affecting operations or affecting the bottom line. Like, yes, that's important, but it's also, how do all these numbers come together to paint a picture of what's going on in this employee's life?
Yeah, data can tell a story.
Right,
for sure.
Exactly. And how do we then package that up in terms of what issues that employee might be facing? Something like fatigue detection, even just on the baseline, like this person is working back-to-back shifts. They're picking up overtime. Maybe they just had a kid. They need to get some more money. So they're really working themselves to the bone. We can see that and we can put it in those terms for our customers so that they see, like this person might be at risk here.
Interesting.
And we might want to have a conversation,
Right.
That's cool. That's really cool. I just learned about, this was on TikTok of all places, but I follow some corporate accounts on TikTok, and they were talking about quiet quitting. Have you ever heard that term? Quiet quitting?
That's big now.
And how you just do the base level of duties. You don't go above and beyond because you're just doggone tired and you're overwhelmed with everything, and something's got to give, right? So you do less on your job.
And that's something that we've heard. We've consistently been hearing that from our folks who are on the ground talking to HR professionals, even at places like SHRM, not just employees, but even HR professionals themselves and payroll professionals themselves. They're exhausted. Yeah. They don't know where to go next. They have problems understanding. We've all been treading water for like 2 years now. So how is it that we can start progressing our organizations again now that it looks like maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel? And how do we take some of the processes we've learned, like business continuity, some of the resiliency practices, things like that, to move through some of these new challenges we're seeing around like economic recession and some of these, upheaval globally, these sort of things. And all of that ultimately is about seeing the whole person. And to go back to the quiet quitting example, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If people are tired and if people are not being seen or feeling like they're heard, they're not going to be invested in what's going on at their organization. They're just going to be kind of doing what they need to do to get their paycheck. And in order to facilitate kind of more engagement and people who really care and want to be a part of something, you really need to be able to give those people a voice in the organization and make those people feel like, again, they can bring their whole selves to work. And we do that uniquely through a lot of the solutions we provide around employee feedback, around coaching managers to be better at what they do in terms of supporting people, making people feel like those business initiatives way up at the top of the hill, those are actually reflective of my feedback, reflective of how I perceive what's going on around me every day.
My company's listening to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm being heard. I'm yeah, like you said, you're being seen. Those are all really, really good points.
Yeah.
Thinking about employee engagement, we've been hearing it all over the market. People want to connect with their employees because everybody's scattered to the four winds, whether you're in manufacturing or you're in, an office setting or whatever it is you're doing. People are working different shifts. They're working, in ways that they've never worked before. What are some of the things that you have down on your roadmap that UKG is going to be bringing out, whether in that way of engagement or otherwise?
Yeah, so we see kind of a few different pillars here, to go back to the theme of pillars, I guess.
Can't go wrong with pillars.
Yeah. So really there's what's going on with employees on one side, and then there's what's going on with managers and with the leaders of the organization on the other side. And how do we kind of strike a balance where we can enable both of those things? In terms of employee communication, like you brought up, and making sure people stay connected no matter where they're working, we're really working on some innovative communication platforms and giving employees a space and a forum where they can really feel like they can talk to their peers back and forth and understand what's going on for each other more, and have that community feeling, so that people are more willing to put in that extra time, make a real difference in the organization they're in, because they recognize that people are inspired to do that. So there's a tool that we're working on launching right now called UKG Talk that's basically all about that. So that's one side of the equation when it comes to the employees and facilitating their communication. And we even do this at a simpler level through things like our company hub in the Ready product, which is our product for small businesses, because we know in those settings, you need a more streamlined option for this. So really putting everything in one place where employees can see what the company charter is, what the latest videos are, what the news feed is, and understanding kind of how they relate to all of that that's going on. So, we have the right size of solution for that, depending on what kind of your business needs are or where you sit in the market. So that's the employee side. On the manager, director, leadership side, we see it more as, like I was saying, you need the right information. You need benchmarks. You need to be able to understand, what am I measuring myself against? Like, are there other organizations that are doing this better than I am? Do I even know that? Do I even know where to look for that information? So really trying to package up, what are those benchmarks coming from places like Great Place to Work, coming from our own diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging group at UKG and the practices that we've implemented. How do we package all that up into some benchmarks that people can follow, that they can see, where do I stand as an organization here in terms of how people-centric I'm being, how much belonging I'm creating, and, how do I know, based on real feedback from real employees, that I'm on the right path, basically. So those are the two kind of things, like facilitating that employee communication and also guiding leaders to do the right thing for employees and to know even like where to look to be able to do that.
Right. That's great. And when we look at how employers are communicating to their employees, how they're keeping them engaged, a thing to be mindful of is how we engage them in how they're selecting their employee benefits, how they're receiving that information, how they're making those decisions to select benefits that are right for them. And, in this industry, we see a lot of competition in technology as it relates to employee benefits. So, I'm curious, how is UKG advancing your HCM to stay competitive in that employee benefits area?
Yeah, so we've actually made some very strategic investments around that very niche of the HCM market. There was a company who we had worked with for a long time as a partner, who we had some very strategic integrations with some of our products already, called Everything Benefits. They were known for being a benefit carrier connection provider. They were known for kind of facilitating some of the services around benefits, such as, COBRA administration and things of that nature, 401ks, those sort of things. And we got to a point in the relationship with them where we were like, well, why don't we bring them into the fold? So we actually acquired Everything Benefits. They're now part of UKG as a whole. And we've been leveraging some of the connections that we already made to really deepen our ability to serve people effectively with the benefits area. So in terms of small business, we've already got a solution there that's pretty much locked down called UKG Ready Benefits. In terms of providing just simpler carrier connections, easier comparisons for employees so that they can look at the right benefits packages for them. Again, trying to facilitate kind of both sides of the coin there for organizations to be more efficient with it and also for employees to have more visibility. And we're also going to be developing something for UKG Pro, which is our, enterprise grade HCM solution, called UKG Pro Benefits Hub, which is going to be sourced off of the same technology and is truly going to bring that benefits administration capability upstream to our enterprise and mid-market customers in a much more kind of concrete way moving forward. So that's something we're really excited about, and we think is going to make a splash when we get it out there.
That's exciting. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
That's lots of innovation over there.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a ton of different product resources, and like I said, we're really thinking about the different levels of the market, everything from your major enterprises and what they need all the way down to kind of the smallest of organizations and what they need too, and making sure that everybody has a solution that works for them, because it's not about, we don't see HCM as being about that old kind of dichotomy of best of breed or single solution anymore. It's really about what works for your people. Like, take that out of the conversation. It should be about, can we provide you with the building blocks to do what you want to do? And yes, that can be best of breed. That can be something like UKG Dimensions that can handle the most complex of workforces and the most like top grade of workforce management challenges you can think of. Or it could be something like Ready, where it's, I really just need to see everything. I need a streamlined solution. I need something that's going to simplify things for me. I'm the only HR person. I'm wearing like 90 hats. Like, how do I just get a picture of what's going on and be able to streamline my process and be able to like do what's right? And so anywhere in the market, we can serve you, basically.
Yeah, I think that we've heard over and over in this series that through the pandemic, we all had to pivot a little bit in one area or another. And I think that's great that we all banded together in that way, but it's also really challenging. So it's awesome that UKG is working to make that easier, make the pivot a little less manual, make the pivot a little more streamlined, and you're looking for really good solutions for your clients. It's really cool. Anything else you'd like to add while we're together today, Keen?
I'm just really, grateful for the opportunity to talk with you guys. I appreciate the invite, and any questions that your audience has, we're happy to answer for them, or if they're interested in more information about any of the solutions I've talked about today.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Keen. We're really excited to have UKG as a partner. Our elite partners make us look good. They really help shine the whole experience for employees and for the employers who have to put together, all of the things that they have to do. So thank you for your partnership. We're really happy to have you on board.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Now to the listener of this podcast, if you are an employer looking for an HR technology solution, whether it's payroll, then admin, time and attendance, HRIS, HCM, or even a year-round one-on-one enrollment support, we have solutions that will fit your culture and your budget. Our elite partners, they're making a difference every day in the HR technology world, and we're here for it. So if you'd like more information about the services you've heard today from UKG, please email us at btrprojects@bentechre.com to connect with our experts. Thanks for viewing today's podcast and enjoy your day.